Order, order. Welcome to another episode of Reporters Without Orders, a weekly podcast where we discuss what made news, what did not, and what absolutely should not have. And today we are joined by two of my colleagues, Shivnarayan and Sumedha. Welcome to Reporters Without Orders.
Thanks, Pratyush.
Hi, Pratyush.
Hi, Sumedha and Shiv. Sumedha's report is coming on the voter roll in Maharashtra, while Shiv has recently done a very interesting profile of BJP's president JP Nadda. So Shiv, after a long time, I think you worked on it for 2 months or more than that.
I worked on it for 1 month, and then we were waiting for reply from JP Nadda, so that's how it got delayed.
How it got delayed because you were waiting?
On April 14th, I sent a detailed questionnaire to JP Nadda's team. So we gave them 1 week's time, then they sought an extension. Then the India-Pakistan conflict happened. Then I think the BJP was busy addressing questions around the conflict. Then we gave them 2 more weeks. So that's how it got delayed, but the reply never came.
Oh, okay. And in case of Sumedha, I think it is your continuation of the report that you done in December.
Last year
about voter suppression.
Yeah.
So it is on the same line?
I mean, we cannot call it voter suppression, but it is about more which hint at the possibility of manipulation of voter rolls, which is like wrongful deletions of genuine voters and additions of fake voters, which hints at that. So yeah, this is something this time we have looked at, me and my friend Vishal Vaibhav, who was formerly a professor at IIT Delhi. Okay. So both of us have looked into what has happened into Maharashtra, because I mean, I'm sure all of us must be following the controversy which broke out after Rahul Gandhi's piece in the Indian Express calling Maharashtra elections a match fix. So our story kind of answers a lot of questions.
We'll get back to Sumedha and we'll discuss about her story. But first, let us go to Shiv. So Shiv, your story's headline is The Bilaspur Blueprint, JP Nadda's political rise and parallel growth of his family-run NGO. So my first question to you is, why this Bilaspur Blueprint? Why it is in the headline?
Bilaspur Blueprint... First, Nadda is from Bilaspur, which is geographically centrally located district in Himachal Pradesh. And when JP Nadda was studying at Himachal Pradesh University, so he fought a couple of elections. First election he lost, second he won as ABVP president. So what kind of techniques he employed when he was fighting the student polls, breaking the left unity, what he did for how he campaigned during elections. So that was a kind of blueprint that he still carries with himself. So that's why Bilaspur Blueprint.
Okay, interesting. Very interesting. But I might be confused, but so far I know Nadda was born and brought up in Patna. So how come his political career started in Himachal? Like, what is the trajectory?
Nadda comes from the family of academics. His father was teaching. His father taught, in fact, at Patna University. Then he was also vice chancellor of Ranchi University. So Nadda was born and raised in Patna, where he did his schooling. He also studied law at Patna University. So when he was studying law, he was also part of ABVP team. There, so-called, he cut his. He learned the political ropes from Patna University, and at the time JP movement. I mean, he said in one of his addresses that he was also part of JP movement. He learned a lot from JP movement at that time.
Okay.
So then the family moved to Shimla. That's where he continued his higher studies. He came to Himachal Pradesh University in 1980, and then he fought his first elections here in Himachal Pradesh University.
So what is his present political clout in Himachal? Because we know about Jairam Thakur and other key BJP players from the same state. So how is Nadda's
Prem Kumar
position?
Dhumal, Anurag Thakur.
Yes, Anurag Thakur is also there. So how's what is Nadda's position in the state politics?
Right. So if I could tell you how he started his electoral politics as well as other facets of politics. he fought his first election in 1993. And there were, I think, 8 to 10 BJP MLAs elected. So, and he was appointed opposition leader at the time. I think he was around 32 years old. So, for such a young first-time MLA to become opposition leader was a huge, was big achievement for him.
Right.
And there were many senior leaders. And 1993 he was in opposition. 1998 again he won the election from Bilaspur. 1998 he became forest minister. He was also in charge of parliamentary affairs. 2003 he lost the election.
Okay.
And the reason, what people told me, the reason was that some veteran leaders did not like the rise of Jagat Prakash Nadda, and due to infighting led to Nadda's loss. But I spoke with the other side of the story is that Nadda at the time gave a lot of power to his personal assistant who goes by the name Kashmir Singh. So all the questions, all the grievances were directed to Kashmir Singh. So Kashmir Singh would handle complaints of Nadda's, people living in Bilaspur. So there was no connect. People were saying so Nadda was slightly disconnected from the electorate in Bilaspur. So that resulted in his loss in 2003. Okay. 2008 again he fought the elections and he won. And 2008, Prem Kumar Dhumal again became Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh. And as I said, Prem Kumar Dhumal and Nadda had a lot of differences at the time. So Nadda thought that it's better for me to go to Delhi and pursue his political career. So one of the aides from Nadda's team told me that Nadda's character is such that he would not create stumbling blocks for somebody. I mean, if somebody wants to stop him, he would just take a different route. Okay. Like he's
not like kind of
his nature
confronting.
His nature is not confrontational.
Okay.
So that's why he came to, at the time in 2010-11, Nitin Gadkari was BJP president, and he was looking for fresh faces for his team. So Nadda was called to Delhi, and he became National General Secretary. That's how his innings in Delhi started. But as of now, BJP leaders have told me from the state, they told me that right now Nadda is the undisputed leader of the party because in 2022 assembly elections, Nadda had a big say in ticket distribution. And at the time...
But BJP lost that election.
BJP lost that election, so it was a huge blow to Nadda's image. Okay. At the time, we also saw... one disgruntled BJP leader, he was denied ticket, Kripal Parmar. So his phone conversation with Narendra Modi went viral at the time. Okay. And Narendra Modi was heard pacifying Kripal Parmar because somebody else got ticket from the same constituency. But Kripal Parmar said that I had already filed my papers as independent. It's too late for me to pull out. And Kripal Parmar was not the only person who was rebel, who turned rebel. There were a lot of rebel leaders who stood against BJP candidates. So that shows that the Himachal BJP was undergoing some sort of churn. And Nadda maybe wanted to install his own people. So if the idea was if BJP came to power, Nadda could become the chief minister. In 2017, he also he was also one of the front runners to become chief minister, but BJP central leadership chose Jairam Thakur. At the time. So 17, what happened, there are a couple of versions which you can also find in the article. I won't reveal because the story is behind paywall, and yes, I put in a lot of hard work to piece together this article. But yeah, Nadda has good connection with the leaders. He's trying to prop up, he's trying to create his own team there. But at the same time, he's not considered mass leader. Nadda's power flows through his position because he's BJP president right now. So you can't disobey BJP president's directions. So I don't know what will happen once he's replaced as BJP president.
Right, because he is now also a Minister of Health and Family Welfare.
Yeah,
He's a central cabinet minister.
He is a union minister. He has two ministries under him. One is health and second is chemical and fertilizers. So union minister, I don't know what kind of influence union minister would have in state politics.
He's most likely to be replaced very soon, like within months or weeks. That's the buzz.
Right. I mean, the speculation has been rife since Lok Sabha elections concluded, and now people are saying, some leaders are saying that the next elections to BJP presidentship could happen by the end of July or early August. But first, BJP has to have organizational polls. The first thing is that half of the states plus one should have BJP presidents. So unless that
half of the
states across India plus one should have BJP president.
Don't they already have?
No, there's a lot of, I'll tell you, Maharashtra doesn't have, Maharashtra, UP, Telangana and few other states don't have BJP presidents as of now. And organization polls haven't happened. So once it's done, only then the central BJP president could be elected. Because when Nadda was chosen as BJP president, he was appointed by parliamentary board, or then the election happened later on in 2020, 1 year later, I think, after his appointment. And his term got over in 2023, and since then he's been on extension.
Okay. So that brings that raised another question, that what would be his equations within the BJP after he vacate his position as a BJP president, and what is his relation with the top two that we often see in the Modi government, Modi, Sahdo, who decides most of these things, and equations with these two matters more than any other aspects.
What happens after he's replaced? Something that is, for that we have to wait. But what is his position at the moment? What is his equation with Modi, Shah? One thing is clear that Nadda within BJP circles is considered a yes man to Modi and Shah duo.
As you have said, he is not a confronting kind of a person, right? As a politician also.
So he takes his brief from Modi, Shah, and he doesn't go beyond what Modi, Shah tell him to do. But BJP leaders told me that he's industrious and he is kind of person who will implement the strategies prepared by Narendra Modi and Amit Shah. But mostly, if you see how TV channels have portrayed his image during elections, during exit polls, we may have seen that if it's an exit poll, right, and BJP is predicted to lose that election, so mostly you would see only JP Nadda's picture in front of the BJP's tally. And if BJP is predicted to win the election, then you would see Prime Minister Narendra Modi's picture. So that shows, of course, it's no secret that how the media has been working over the past 10 years. So BJP very well knows, or maybe there could be diktat from the government whose photo should be displayed on TV screens. I've given several examples, like what happened in this election, what happened in Haryana elections, whose picture was displayed at the time.
Right.
So, and if there is a cabinet reshuffle also, then Nadda is asked to call those who have been shown the exit door.
Okay.
And
to
those,
pacify them?
I don't know to what extent, but his job is to convey the message that this is what the leadership has decided. I'm the messenger. So
he'll be the good cop to the bad cop, or the bad cop to the good cop.
Yes.
But isn't that the case with all BJP presidents? That they're supposed to be the executor.
Amit Shah as a BJP president was quite powerful. We have seen, how could be
this has changed. This has changed after Modi and Amit Shah have become at the top. At the top leadership, and now they just want the presidents to be the
after
executor.
2019, we can say.
After 2024 general elections, there were a lot of articles on why BJP was reduced to 240 seats. So there were a few articles that hinted that Amit Shah was trying to do everything. Amit Shah was actively involved in ticket distribution, actively looking for regional partners, who should they join hands with in different states. So everything, he was trying to do everything. So there was too much, he spread himself thin at the time. So people said that could be the reason. So that shows that Nadda does not have that much power within the organization setup of BJP. When I was talking about when can next BJP president election happen? So another reason why there's been, the elections have been on hold is because BJP and RSS haven't reached consensus on who could be the next face.
So Shiv, Nadda was also health minister in the central government in past and at present as well. And he also served as health minister in Himachal Pradesh. So what is this health ministry and Nadda thing? Did you explore it? Did you find anything on it? Or what do you think of it? Why he is always the health minister?
I think I did not explore this aspect fully, but maybe this time why he was given health portfolio, maybe Narendra Modi was happy with his first term between 2014 and 2019. That was the period also when the health ministry launched Ayushman Bharat, so-called Modi Care.
Okay.
And at the time, he was also instrumental in bringing joint center-state inspection of pharmaceutical or pharma manufacturers. This is what health activists told me. But maybe Nadda knows how health ministry works at the center and in the state. But there were a lot of controversies when he was health minister in Himachal Pradesh that I've written about it in the article. So it's up to you, readers or viewers.
Of course, don't reveal everything because it is under the paywall.
Yeah.
It is behind the paywall.
Yeah.
So you have to subscribe to Newslaundry to read Shiv's very interesting profile of JP Nadda. I don't think there has been any profile of Nadda before your piece.
I don't think so, but maybe Express Hindu, they've written small articles on
when somebody is appointed.
On BJP's, when he was appointed or who is going to replace him. But I haven't seen.
But what about his wife's NGO? Because your headline, the first part that caught my eye was the Bilaspur blueprint, and the second thing that caught my eye was the parallel growth of his wife's NGO. What is this NGO? Why you are calling it a parallel growth?
This NGO called Chetna Sansthan, it was founded by Nadda's wife Malika Nadda in 1999. So BJP came to power in 2014. Since then, BJP has been in power. So we start looking at the funds received by this NGO. So mostly we could see only that the NGO started receiving funds from 2014-15 onwards. So this NGO has received funds from SJVN, which is Center State's public sector unit, SJVN, and then REC, which funds power projects. It's a government undertaking. And the government undertaking is Rail Vikas Nigam Limited and NHPC. These 4 PSUs have contributed around 4 crore rupees to this NGO. So this NGO was built mostly with the PSU funds. Then there were private players also which have contributed to.
What do they do actually? This NGO?
This is a rehabilitation center. They also work for women empowerment, skill development programs they run. They also work with children with disabilities. So these are the sectors that the NGO works in. So I was talking about the private players which have also contributed to this NGO. They are IFCO Tokyo, Torrent Pharmaceuticals, FM Industries, Royal Orchid Hotels.
Did these pharmaceutical companies donated at the period when he was also in the position of power?
So Torrent contributed when Nadda was not health minister. It was between, I think, in 2023-2024, that's when Torrent Pharmaceuticals contributed 3.3 lakh rupees. So the highest came from SJVN, which is based in Himachal Pradesh, 2.7 crore rupees. Then REC Limited, which funds power projects, 2 crore rupees. Then Rail Vikas Nigam Limited, 8.8 lakh. then 5 lakh from NHPC. That's from 2014-15 till now.
Okay, interesting. And how did you find this out?
Right. When I began working on this profile, I had no clue. In a sense, I was not sure what should I look at. Should I look at his political profile? Should I look at other aspects of Nadda? But then I hit the ground. When you hit the ground, you start receiving a lot of leads. Some leads materialize, some don't. In my case, many did not materialize. So I went to Bilaspur, met a few local leaders. They gave me a few leads. Then I visited the NGO, which is based in Vijaypur in Bilaspur.
Okay.
So I visited that NGO. I want to know how it works, in what sector it works, how it's benefiting the communities over there. So there I saw it's a sprawling building, huge area they have, where there's a playground for children. The building is three-story tall. So when I went inside, I spoke with the administrator, Kashmir Singh, who is long-time associate of JP Nadda. Now he keeps low profile. Okay. So I met him. So there I saw a couple of 3-4 plaques saying that this was funded by this company or this was funded by this company. So I came across SJVN. So the name SJVN was there. So I was not sure what's SJVN. So then I called up few people who knew Nadda, who have tracked Nadda's political career. So they told me SJVN is PSU and we should look at SJVN's track record, how much they have funded, how much they've given to this NGO in CSR funds. So that's how it started. Then I started looking for more PSUs. That's how it started, yeah.
So Shiv, we'll come back to you again. But Sumedha, as we were talking about political success, you have long been trying to find out whether political success can also be achieved through manipulation of voter list. So am I right?
Right. You are absolutely right. This is one of those few subjects which I've been really interested in. And this is like elections I'm in general very much curious about. And this is something which, can answer questions about whether Indian elections can be rigged or not. I mean, a lot of manipulation takes place in elections at panchayat and corporation level, but I am particularly interested to look at what kind of manipulation can take at Lok Sabha and parliamentary and assembly elections. So there's been a lot of debate since this Maharashtra election results have come out, and so we try to look into how much of those allegations by Congress can be true.
And this time you have chosen the constituency of the Chief Minister of Maharashtra.
Yeah.
So what did you find? Tell us the story.
Yeah. So I'll first start from the fact that Congress has been saying that there has been the biggest spike in voters in the 6 months period, which is between Lok Sabha elections and assembly elections. And they are saying that the number of voters have never increased at this scale in any elections before 2024. So Maharashtra overall has around 1 lakh booths, which means if you actually want to find out where maximum additions have taken place, you need to look at the data of these many booths, and it is it's really tough to do that. So after much before Congress had started these,
you have done three-part series on the same thing.
Last year
addition
when we
and deletion, right?
Yeah, so last year after our series, I was interested into looking into the fact that can we write an algorithm which would automatically which would automate the work of extracting data from voter rolls and
too technical
paint a
to
picture.
Understand for people like me and Shiv. So
just
I'll simplify it.
I come from a computer science background.
Yes.
And we have studied data structures and algorithms, and in those subjects our job was to make human work as easy as possible. You write an algorithm of some couple of sentences, and then you get that algorithm to automate a lot of work done by, for example, if you have to keep some 100 objects from box A to box B, then you get an algorithm to do it for you so that you don't need a human to do it 100 times.
Okay.
So I was curious to know that if we can apply the same sort of an algorithm to extract data of voter rolls from Maharashtra, and which would automatically extract data, put it and analyze that data, tell us that if the additions and deletions are within the usual limit as mandated by Election Commission of India, and then flag it. So while I was doing it, I got in touch with a professor at IIT Delhi. His name is Vishal Weber, and he cracked this code. And and that's when we try to took it forward. So for now, we have just taken a look at Nagpur South West, from where Devendra Fadnavis has been winning from 2009. The assembly constituency has some 378 booths. So earlier what we would have to do was, like, if we want to download a voter roll of any particular booth you're interested to look into, you'll have to enter a captcha code in Election Commission's on the ECI's website, and then it will take a couple of minutes for that PDF to get downloaded. Then you'll have to go to the last page of that PDF, where it would specifically mention that these many additions and deletions have taken place in one revision. So now we have got a code to do this for us, and Vishal did all of that work. But the allegations are but the findings are very interesting. Election Commission of India says that every year, only 4% of voters are usually added. New voters are added on one booth in one electoral roll. So, and the usual rate of deletion is 2%. And if there are additions happening which are more than 4%, this usual limit of 4%, then there is something that needs to be investigated, and therefore they have put in a lot of checks and balances by their senior level officials. So when Congress started, Congress had started alleging that there have a lot of allegations have taken place.
It was just before Rahul Gandhi's article?
I mean, right after the Maharashtra results of Maharashtra Assembly elections, Congress has been alleging that unusually high number of additions have taken place in Maharashtra. But an election commission in the response to Congress has said that this is something which is not unusual and this has always happened. But nowhere between in Congress allegations or Election Commission of India's response, they have said that, nobody has tried to dig into the fact that whether these additions are over the usual rate of 4%. Because that is where the devil lies. If it is more than 4%, then it has to be investigated as per norms mandated by Election Commission of India. So what we found out, so we just did a litmus test on Nagpur South West Assembly constituency in Maharashtra. And we found that this time 8% of new voters were added. Which is double than the usual rate of addition of voters. And this would translate into about 32,000 new voters in one assembly constituency between Lok Sabha elections and Vidhan Sabha elections.
Which is just few months away,
Which is just 6 months away. Away from each other. Yeah. So this assembly constituency has around 378 booths, out of which over 270 booths had deletion between 4% to up to 60%. Going up to 60%, that means around 58% of new voters were added on one booth. And if I'll explain it to my viewers that a booth, you can imagine a booth as small as a colony. So what happened in that colony in those 6 months, that 60% of new voters were registered.
Do you have any such strange figure in terms of one booth, for example,
and it's not just one booth out of 378 booths. I'm saying it's there are 270 such
in 200
booths.
But how many people, how many names have been added?
In 270 booths, I mean, out of those 32,000 figures which have been added, majority of the additions have taken place on these 278 booths. I would say about over 80%.
Right. That means this, each of this
could be 25,000, 30,000.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and there have been like about, I would say, some 60 booths where the additions range from 30 to 60%. And
That's mean how many people would be like voters?
I mean, 60% of new voters in one booth would constitute to some 400 new voters or
400 new
350 new
one
voters.
colony kind
in
of
one
a booth.
colony.
Yeah.
In one colony.
So one booth would normally comprises of say 1,000 votes.
1100.
1100,
Between 800 to
1100
1100 voters.
800 to 1,200 votes.
Yeah. So if
So it has
60%
now
new
increased to
voters were,
1500 basically, right?
yeah, it would have increased to 1500. And election commission itself says in its guidelines that the one booth should have voters up to 1100, but this time they allowed up to 1500 voters.
This time
In
only.
some cases, I don't know if it is this time. We have asked them this question, that do they usually allow these kind of exceptions? And I mean, at the time of recording this video, we haven't got any response from the Election Commission of India. So yeah, so I mean, this is something which is startling. And so I was curious to know about if population behaves like this. And I spoke to one of the former Registrar General and Census Commissioner of India, and his name is A.R. Nanda. He had conducted 1991 census, and I asked him if he had seen this unusual spike in population. I mean, unusual spike in voters would mean there was an unusual spike in population.
Definitely.
Either a lot of people had moved into that area, or in early 2000 a lot of people were born than the usual rate of birth, who all turned above 18 this time.
Or maybe many new people have just registered and they have not been voting for years. So
Exactly. There could be either three possibilities. So
also migration maybe. If
yeah,
at all it is a
one could be
constituency
migration, that a
like
new
Delhi.
building has come up in that area, and everybody has
Factory has come up
a
in
new
the area.
Not even factory, we cannot
Like
say it
big
for a fact.
factory, for example, 1,000, 1,500
I mean,
workers.
but in India, like usually the migrant workers, all of them would not get their, voter rolls shifted from, let's say, Bihar to Maharashtra in just 6 months.
Right.
So that is something which, I mean, that usually does not happen in India. So either migration from one city to another city, a new building has, and it's an urban city. It's this constituency is in the urban part of the city. So either a new building has come up, and everybody has moved there, and they got their voters themselves registered as new voters, or the other possibility is a lot of people were born in early 2000, and now they have all turned to 18 plus, and they've got themselves registered. I mean, that these are the only two things which explain the reason that why there has been this kind of a jump, at least in I would say like 270 booths. And so Mr. A.R. Nanda, who is former Registrar General and Census Commissioner of India, he told me he had conducted, under his watch, 1991 census was conducted, and he had told me that he has not experienced this kind of unusual spike in population anywhere in the country. But in 1991, specifically, witnessed this kind of an unusual spike in voters only in Nagaland and Bihar.
Okay.
So therefore, he got his team to hit the ground again and investigate whether the findings they have come up with during in the first time were true. And they found out that in Nagaland there were certain tribes who were trying to over enumerate themselves.
Okay.
And therefore, but in Bihar they had found that there was a sudden migration from one place to another, which explained the spike in population. So for Bihar, they had published the data, but for Nagaland, they had, for those certain areas, they had withheld the data, and they said that, this data is under question. So he said that, it's not common to witness these kind of spike in population, which explains that, you won't witness this spike in voters
then
as
also,
well.
this raises the question on the EC itself, no? Election
Exactly.
Commission. What is the actually process of addition and deletion in the voter list?
I mean, it's very simple.
For the viewers,
Yeah, it's very simple. If you want to get yourself registered as a new voter, you have to fill a form 6. You either give it to your booth level officer, or you either fill that form online, and then the booth level officer will visit your house to check whether you live there or not, and will ask for residential proof and will ask for some citizenship proof. And once those documents are verified, then you'll be registered as a new voter.
Okay.
I mean, the process is very simple. So therefore, I spoke to some booth level officers in that area, specifically from those booths which have witnessed this increase of between 30 to 60% of spike in voters. And I called like about 12 of them, and 6 of them replied to me, and all of them said that they have not registered these new voters.
Right.
And they said that this was an unusual spike in voters, and they have been the booth level officers of these booths from over a decade. And in none of the previous elections they have seen that. And this time the application form to add new voters were given to them by the district office. So there's nothing wrong with the district office to give forms to booth level officers to register new voters. It's the process can be like, if you have applied online, then your application can go to the district office. But what is unusual about is that the district, according to them, was that the district office gave them forms in bulk, like 200 of them, 300 forms to one booth level officers to go out and verify in such a short span of time. And they said that all 6 of them said that they were not able to trace these new voters. And despite that, these voters were registered. So,
did they vote also?
That is something we don't know. I wish we could have found out. But on one booth where the maximum number of additions have taken place, which is like 58%, that booth had the biggest turnout of 63%, and which is 10% even higher than the turnout of the entire assembly constituency. And BJP has won from that booth. And
how many votes were there? 1,500?
There was some 1,200, 1,300 votes on that booth, and I think some 800 were cast, and some over 300 voters were added. So it explains that the new voters who were added could have also casted their vote, because the voter turnout is the highest.
Yes. Definitely. We can speculate. We can just show what we have found out.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
The accountability lies on the election commission, no?
Exactly.
So, do you think is there a lack of accountability despite checks and balances, like this kind of checks and balances specified by the election commission itself?
Exactly.
So what is happening in terms of accountability?
After Rahul Gandhi's article, Chief Election Commissioner had also responded to it kind of indirectly, saying that we have a lot of checks and balances in place, and therefore there can't be any lapses in wrongful additions or wrongful deletion of voters. But in this case, the ECI clearly says that the ground verification to add new voters is mandatory by booth level officers. But in this case, all 6 of them have told me that this has not happened. The second thing is, the ECI has got supervisor.
So, I have this question. If they could not verify a voter, like that 200 voters, they got the forms, bulk of forms, 200 forms to them, and where to verify them. So, if I say I am the that person, and I say I could not verify them, does it mean that he is not eligible for voter? That guy whom I could not verify?
That person is not eligible to even get registered as voter. Forget that person going out and vote.
So this person, but they got enrolled in the electoral roll.
Yes. They were. Even the booth level officer was not able to verify his existence on the ground. But they were registered as new voters.
Okay, so their name should be deleted if they cannot be verified.
I asked the same question from these booth level officers. They said that, we had flagged this to the district office and they just didn't listen to us.
They allowed this unverified voter
to come. Yeah, right. To become part of the electoral rolls.
Yes.
To slip into the electoral rolls.
Definitely. So then obviously it has election commission as a kind of accountability, as you were saying.
Exactly. There is an accountability. And I mean, these are all valid questions to ask. You cannot, why there was a spike in voters double than the usual rate. And this is despite the fact that the increase in population of Nagpur district has slowed down in the last 20 years.
Okay.
So what explains the sudden rise in voters is something beyond my understanding. The other thing which I've found is that I did some manual close examination of these voter rolls of some 50 booths, and I found out that about over 4,000 voters on these 50 booths had no addresses.
So but they're voters.
But they are voters.
Yeah.
And how is this possible when Election Commission of India is asking for a residential proof to get you as a mandatory document to get you registered as a new voter? So how are these people slipping into voter rolls with no addresses? I had found a similar thing when I was reporting from Meerut in Uttar Pradesh, and at that time I had raised this question with the Chief Electoral Officer of Uttar Pradesh, Navdeep Singh Rinwa, and he had told me that this is a big problem across Uttar Pradesh, that it has thousands of voters with no addresses which cannot be traced. And he had told me specifically that they have been raising it with the Election Commission of India to prepare an SOP to delete these kind of voters. Because usually the Election Commission of India is very conservative when it comes to deleting voters, because they don't want to steal away anybody's right to vote.
Right.
So the CEO of UP had told me there is no such SOP to delete these voters who cannot be traced. And we are now witnessing a similar kind of a situation in Maharashtra.
Right. So we are coming to the last segment of the podcast, and last segment is about the challenges you faced while reporting on the stories.
There weren't many challenges as such while I was reporting on this profile. When I was in Himachal Pradesh, in Shimla and Bilaspur and one more district, people were very open to talking about it. Because Himachal Pradesh, there were a lot of senior BJP leaders who have been sidelined, and they've raised the flag of rebellion. So they were very open to talking to me. And when I was staying in Shimla, there is a Mall Road. Okay, I was staying very close to Mall Road, and that Mall Road is pedestrian friendly, so vehicles are not allowed. So everybody has to walk, and that's also the seat of power. So on the Mall Road, you'll see the powers that be of Himachal Pradesh. It could be from judiciary, it could be from the administration, could be from the politics, all walks of life. The top people you'll see on Mall Road during lunch break or other kinds of break. So I met most of the leaders only on Mall Road. Also visited the BJP office, but Mall Road was kind of minefield for me. So many sources, and met them at the coffee, at the restaurant, at different places. So one after the other, I kept meeting a lot of people. But here in Delhi, it was slightly harder compared to Himachal Pradesh, because I was trying to reach out to few central leaders in Delhi. So I met a few of them. But it was very hard. I had to chase them for weeks and weeks. I think state leadership, they are very open to talking about if you take them in confidence, if you convince them this is the story, and if they know your credentials to some extent, they would spill some beans. But in Delhi, it's slightly harder. So Delhi was a challenge. Himachal was a cakewalk.
And Sumedha, what were your challenges?
Pulling out voter rolls from Election Commission of India's website and extracting data from it. But Vishal did that job, and therefore we were able to do it. And I think we need more collaboration of journalists with, with people experts from computer world, so that we can do more such kind of stories. Science and journalism needs more collaboration.
But it is happening in international organizations.
Exactly.
There has been many stories done through using tech and other
and I think we need more such that in India.
Let's see, even though coders have now become part of many newsrooms. I'm not sure about India, but in international organizations, coders have become part of the media.
And it's a fantastic thing.
Yeah.
For data mining, for data visualization, I think.
Yes.
Right. And for the other aspects also, statistics can, if not investigate certain issues, but it, as Vishal keeps telling me, that statistics cannot investigate certain issues, but it can hint you toward in that direction where you should be investigating things on the ground.
Right.
So, yeah.
So now, recommendations, Shiv, what is your recommendation for the week?
So last month I watched an old movie, not that old. It was released in 2018. The name of the movie is Sir. So the movie is about Ashwin, a US returned architect who falls in love with his house help, and how I mean, the emotions portrayed by director Rohan Gera are very, very raw. I would say. I think I explored it very late, but people who haven't watched it, please do watch this movie.
Sumedha, what about you?
I will recommend Official Secrets, which can be watched on Amazon Prime. And it's about a woman who used to work in intelligence bureau of UK,
Right.
violated the Official Secrets Act of the state under certain special circumstances, and it's a must watch. Very interesting. What about you,
Right.
Pratyush?
See, as like I used to do sometime. I recommend the stories done by our guest.
Yeah.
So I recommend both Shiv and Sumedha's stories for this week. So you guys should read it. Both are very interesting story, amazing work. So with this podcast is adjourned.
Journalism at Newslaundry is powered by the public, because when the public pays, the public is served. Visit newslaundry.com/subscription and pick a payment plan of your choice. Pay to keep news free and independent. Your future, and indeed the future of democracy, depends on it.